Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today this video is about Microsoft's Windows 11 Insider Preview build 22631.2199, which is released to the beta channel. As a reminder, insiders previously on build 22624 will automatically get moved to build 22631 via an enablement package. The enablement package artificially increments the build number for the update, with new features getting rolled out and turned on to make it easier to differentiate from devices. With the update with features off by default, this approach is being used for the beta channel only and is not indicative of any changes or plans for final feature rollouts. Insiders who landed in the group with new features turned off by default build 22621 can check for updates and choose to install the update that will have features rolling out build 22631. Starting with this build and talking about what's new in this build. Firstly, we have native support for reading additional archive file formats. As announced at the build conference back in May, this build adds native support for reading additional archive file formats using the libarchive open source project. So, this was the only new thing introduced in this build. Talking about the changes and improvements, for Start menu, for files that do not have rich thumbnail previews that can be provided, it will no longer show a blank preview area. This is part of the work for rich thumbnail previews, tooltips, for cloud files on Start that began rolling out with build 22631.2129. For taskbar and system tray, you can now turn on Never Combine mode on the taskbar by right-clicking on the taskbar, choosing taskbar settings, and under taskbar behaviors simply adjusting combine taskbar buttons and hide labels to never. Also, Windows provides a separate setting for turning this on for other taskbars, multiple monitor scenarios, for example. For narrator, change default verbosity level from 2 to 3, which will now announce immediate context name and type. The control context type like list or toolbar will allow users to better understand the focused control, same default as JAWS and NVDA. Narrator users are unblocked for typing traditional Chinese characters in Windows by addition of traditional Chinese dictionary for detailed reading. When navigating to any attachment in Outlook with scan mode, narrator announces the end of the attachment. The same is now reflected on Braille display. Navigate to different headings in scan mode using down arrow, or space +4 key in Braille device. Now navigating to heading is reflected in Braille. When navigating a list with items, whenever narrator announces index with the menu item name, Braille display also reflects the same index values as 1 of 4. For settings, the End Task feature under System, for developers no longer requires developer mode to be enabled first before it can be used. Also added development to the list and toggling it on will launch Dev Home. This matches what is shown in OOBE, out-of-box experience. Under Settings, Personalization, Device Usage. Moving forward, and talking about the fixes in build 22631.2199. For taskbar and system tray, fixed an issue causing app icons in the taskbar to not be able to move, and start overlapping once you tried to do this, in the previous flight. Fixed an issue causing the safely remove hardware icon to not appear when expected in the system tray. Fixed an issue where the End Task feature wasn't working if you tried it when there were multiple windows open of that app. Fixed an issue where using End Task on certain apps would cause other unrelated apps to close. For File Explorer, done some work to improve the performance of archive functionality during compression on Windows. For Input, fixed an issue causing typing with the Japanese and Chinese emails to not work correctly after the latest flights for some insiders. For Narrator, fixed an issue where narrator was not reading various list items in a combo box on various web pages when navigating with up and down arrow. Fixed an issue where narrator was incorrectly announcing combo boxes as read-only even when users could actually select different values from the combo box list items. Addressed the issue where narrator was not announcing the checked and unchecked status of radio buttons but was announcing selected for every item. Fixed an issue where narrator was announcing older information while navigating in date/time picker using arrow keys. Fixed an issue where narrator was incorrectly reading contents of previous cell and the current cell when navigating in a table using right and left arrow keys. Fixed an issue where narrator is incorrectly reading older window title even after navigating to enter control. Fixed an issue where narrator is reading entire paragraph when up arrow is invoked in online Word document. Fixed an issue where narrator was incorrectly reading out last word of previous paragraph when a new paragraph started with a punctuation mark. Fixed a bug where narrator was not announcing the character being deleted when using backspace key in some text fields on the web. Fixed an issue in narrator where while entering any number in CVV edit field, narrator should only announce as hidden, instead of CVV edit, hidden new line selected. Fixed an issue where narrator is not able to detect different headings on some web pages in scan mode while using H key to navigate. Fixed an issue where narrator scan mode arrow navigation skipped first item in container. Fixed an issue where narrator is skipping the first item after navigating via landmark using D key and scan mode. Fixed an issue where narrator focus did not move past the first checkbox if there was a list of checkboxes when using up and down arrow key in scan mode. Fixed an issue where narrator was not activating combo box when navigating using up and down arrow and using enter/spacebar to activate it in scan mode. Fixed an issue where narrator would collapse the combo boxes in scan mode when navigating with up and down arrows. Fixed an issue where navigation commands are not executed as expected in a dialog box when you enter the dialog the second time. Fixed an issue where narrator find was not working consistently on web pages when using narrator key plus control plus F key combination. For HDR wallpaper, fixed an issue where your HDR wallpaper might appear washed out although HDR was enabled. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to select .jxl files for your wallpaper slideshow. For Task Manager, updated the summary view for the performance page that you see when double-clicking the graphs in the navigation pane to make the window smaller. Now talking about the fixes for both Build 2262.1.2199 and Build 2263.1.2199. This update adds new functionality that affects app defaults. To learn more, see a principled approach to app pinning and app defaults in Windows. This update addresses an issue that causes Windows to fail. This occurs when you use BitLocker on a storage medium that has a large sector size. This update addresses an issue that affects remote desktop sessions. Sometimes you receive a wrong error message when you try to sign into a session. This update addresses an issue that affects the search icon. When you select it, the search app does not open. This occurs after a machine has been asleep. This update addresses an issue that affects it does not correctly identify the search box on the taskbar and search highlights within the search box. This update adds a new API for D3-D12 independent devices. You can use it to create multiple D3-D12 devices on the same adapter. To learn more, see D3-D12 independent devices. This update addresses an issue that affects disk partitions. The system might stop working. This occurs after you delete a disk partition and add the space from the deleted partition to an existing BitLocker partition. This update addresses an issue that affects start menu icons. They are missing after you sign in for the first time. This update supports daylight saving time, DST, changes in Israel. This update improves the reliability of the search app. This update addresses an issue that affects print jobs that are sent to a virtual print queue. They fail without an error. This update addresses an issue that affects the search box size. Its size is reduced in tablet posture mode on Microsoft Surface Pro and Surface Book devices. This update addresses an issue that affects the tab key. Using it to browse search results requires additional actions. This update addresses an issue that affects the group policy service. It will not wait for 30 seconds, which is the default wait time, for the network to be available. Because of this, policies are not correctly processed. This update addresses an issue that affects settings. They do not sync even if you turn on the toggle on the Windows backup page in the Settings app. This update addresses an issue that affects the resultant setup policy, RSOP. The Windows Lapse Backup Directory policy setting was not being reported. This occurs when the setting is set to 1, which is backup to AAD. This update addresses an issue that causes high CPU use. This occurs when you enable the FBlock non-domain policy. The update addresses an issue that affects those who use Windows Update for Business. After you are asked to change your password at sign in, the change operation fails. Then you cannot sign in. The error code is 0xC0000060. This update addresses an issue that affects a WS_X_ layered window. The window might render with the wrong dimensions or at the wrong position. This occurs when you scale the display screen. So that was all from Microsoft for this build. If you want to know more, follow the link to the official Microsoft blog from the description. Hope it was useful. Consider like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, just comment down below. Thanks for watching and have a great day ahead.